Our approach to the campus master plan was about marrying up the unique identity of place that the Guangdong site offered, and also trying to bring in the best parts of Fettes College. And that wasn't necessarily just trying to replicate the Gothic building in Edinburgh, it was actually looking at what makes the ethos at Fettes unique. The architectural design narrative is unique for each of the buildings actually, so we looked at the function of each building. We've essentially created a little mini village, if you like. It's an education village for 3,000 students. Each building has its own unique function and identity. That identity has come from a combination of the local place and then the visual identity of certain buildings and certain places within Edinburgh. The latest thinking around 21st century learning is trying to get together cross-curricular activity, project work, trying to train the children really to think about skills for the future, trying to think about how our workplace and how our lives are evolving around technology. So what we've done is created a whole series of buildings, if you like, for each particular school grouping that have a STEM focus, a STEAM heart space to them, where the kids can actually interact in different ways, in ways we don't even know yet. That's the founding principle, to think to the future. The kindergarten is a unique product, if you like. Under Chinese code, you have to create a unique sort of site for a kindergarten anyway, and it felt right to make a unique form for that place. So we've created almost like a donut shape with a little play area in the middle, which is all interactive and it's full of landscape and activity and fun and vibrancy. And then you have the code-compliant classrooms to the south and a wrapping area of really exciting play environments. So all the kids get to learn through play, drive forward that notion from best practice international education with code-compliant Chinese education. The primary school then moves on to take that a step further. We've got the introduction of the STEAM heart space as circulation environments twinned up with better learning places, tinker spaces, but they can play with Lego, break out of their classes and do all sorts of interactive stuff, and then have a greater degree of a relationship with the outdoor space as well. The relationships with the outdoor space change as you move through all the different schools. So the kindergarten has a very fluid movement inside-outside. The primary school has a very prescriptive move inside-outside from larger groupings. And then move on to the middle school, which is a completely inside-out school. It's open, essentially. It's a selection of teaching environments woven into a completely open, passive learning environment. It's a very unique school. That's the Forest City School, if you like. And it has a unique bit of Gothic twist to the roofscape, which kind of brings that Fettes iconography to the planning. The senior school is sort of that centrepiece. It sits on a cross-axis, and a lot like Fettes in Edinburgh, it really is that sort of statement piece in the middle of the whole campus. The statement piece is that point of arrival. You walk in and you're just introduced to this cavernous, beautiful space that has a lecture theatre hanging in the middle of it. It's got a fantastic collaboration environment. It should have STEAM and STEM activity visible and on show right at that front door. So the arrival experience sort of talks about learning, talks about 21st century education, and it talks about quality. It talks about that heritage. It talks about the best school in China. Because the campus is quite large and we have a very unique boarding environment, this is definitely a place where the kids are expected to live. They live and learn, and we wanted to create an integrated living and learning environment, so we designed something called the Learning Spine. The Learning Spine is essentially a sort of a distributed network of little learning environments, library environments, so places where resources can be held, but also individual and group learning activity can be managed and guided, and it's woven into that living environment, the boarding spaces. So all the way through the campus you've got this walkway, the Learning Spine, with little library pods and activity and places, and then off of that comes the boarding houses. Each of those boarding houses mirrors the same boarding houses and the names and ethos that come from Edinburgh. It's almost very hard to talk about what's the best bit of this campus. The facilities in this campus are second to none. We've got a performing arts centre which is completely unique. We've got an 800-seat dedicated music auditorium. We've got a 350-seat dramatic auditorium in the round as well. Next to each other, that creates a performing arts centre like no other. And it's very, very important to get these kids out there expressing themselves. It trains that kind of entrepreneurial activity that is going to make great leaders of the world for the future.